Aunt Marge? Oh. Draco? How's J.K. Rowling thinking of this? This is my face when Mrs. Weasley says, "Oh, don't worry about Harry, he'll be safe at Hogwarts." Did you see the first 2 years? Or because I don't think anyone's safe at Hogwarts. It's like the most dangerous school ever. Sorry, I'm kind of coming at you looking like a mess with my little face wash hairband thing, but I have been reading Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and it has been great. Definitely, you can see that there is the differences between this book and the previous 2 books, where this is already starting to get more creepy, more scary, just in the first like 80 pages. I've really, really enjoyed it. It is already a little bit more grown up than the first 2 books, and Harry Potter is 13 in this book. Okay, so I did not know that the Dementors were the guards of Azkaban. Everyone was all like, "Oh, we're scared of the Dementors," or "We're scared of the guards of Azkaban," and I'm like, why? Like, what's so bad? I've watched the movie, right? And so I knew the Dementors were there, but I thought they were bad and they were like trying to take over or something. I didn't know that they were the guards of Azkaban, so it tells you how good my movie comprehension is. My movie comprehension is terrible. Ooh, Aunt Marge? I'm glad she got blown up. Ugh. She was so annoying. Other than that, I've really enjoyed reading this. I've enjoyed the writing. I've enjoyed the progression of this being a little bit different than the other 2. And yeah, right now I'm on Talons and Tea Leaves. I really like this art on this one specifically. I don't know, I think it's really cool. Okay, other than that, I feel like I don't have much to say other than I'm enjoying it and I'm very excited because, I don't know, I like, after the Goblet of Fire, I don't remember anything. And even the Goblet of Fire, I don't remember all of it. And I know that Ron and Hermione are supposed to have more chemistry in the books, and also Ginny and Harry are supposed to have more chemistry in the books. So I am excited to see that relationship flourish and grow. And yeah. Okay, so I just woke up not that long ago. You probably tell. But I am currently reading. I am on page 119, chapter 6. So one of the things that J.K. Rowling had mentioned was writing a magical creature, and I really appreciated her descriptions and how uncomfortable it would be to ride one of those creatures, and that's something that I personally wouldn't have thought of. Harry riding the hippogriff during Hagrid's first class. First of all, Draco was freaking being mean to Hagrid. Hagrid is my favorite. I will die for him. How dare they? How dare Draco be a freaking little butthole to Hagrid? And Hagrid's just trying to do his best and have his first class, and he was so disappointed in himself and the things that happen, and it just made me feel so sad. Secondly, one of my thoughts was, so Slytherin in general, it's a misconception that everyone in Slytherin is evil. That's just the evil, house. Not true. However, there was not any wizard who had been turned evil who was not in Slytherin. So every evil wizard was previously in Slytherin, but not every wizard or witch or whatever in Slytherin is evil. So my thought is, if the school knows that, wouldn't you think they would start putting in some precautions to try to stop the generational freaking evilness of Slytherin? Or do they just not care? Just a thought. I don't know. other than that, I feel like there's been a couple things happening, you know, I'm tabbing it up as per usual. This has definitely had a faster pace than the other two, but I haven't been able to read as much, so, but it's definitely darker already with the guards of Azkaban coming to the school, and Harry getting picked on a lot and having things happen in class that are having Harry go into the what is this class called? Divinations. His divinations class. I loved reading it because I loved the book and the actress who played it. I mean, she was casted perfectly, and how like crazy she was and her descriptions, it was all very well done in the movie, and I could really see that scene of her screaming because she saw that he had the Grim inside of his teacup, and the fact that he had already seen it in the street and everything. It's just piling on each other for Harry, and what's going to happen to Harry? Who knows? Except, I know what happens in the movie for the most part. I remember it. But yeah, this will be interesting. And also the beginning of Hermione and them being like, oh, well, you can't be in every class, Hermione. What are you gonna do? Not eat? When I know that Professor McGonagall gave her a little something to help her with her classes. Her taking 3 classes at the same time in the morning. So I like that those little adding in of things that J.K. Rowling does to further the plot. Like, everything feels very important to the plot, and I do really appreciate when authors make sure that everything that they're writing is important to the plot or important to her character building, and not just like fluff, not just like, oh, well, I'm just gonna put this in here because I need filler for space to, you know, add tension or something like that. I feel like it's very purposefully written, and yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. I just haven't been able to read very much, and I'm hoping today, Thursday, of April 11th, I'll be able to read more, you know. I'm not gonna say I'd be able to finish this today, but that would be cool, but I gotta do shooting and archery today, so probably can't. Maybe I'll put in some clips so y'all can see what I'm talking about when I talk about shooting and archery, but alright, so I will see y'all in the next clip, whenever that is. So, it is April 12th, Friday, 7:49 a.m. and I asked off of practice today so that I could sit down and relax, and I really want to prioritize my reading today. I am only 40% through the book, but as I'm about to be super busy and YouTube algorithm says you need to post once a week at least, I kind of want to finish this book today. Now, not that I'm going to like rush through the book, because that's not, I've already talked about that on my channel. It's not exactly something that I really want to do. However, if I prioritize my reading and I'm not checking my phone every 5 seconds, and I'm not like watching whatever's on the TV instead, and I'm actually sitting there reading, then I know that as long as I'm prioritizing that, then I can read faster. Not that I'm actually like reading the words on the page faster, but that I'm getting the book through the book faster because I'm prioritizing it. And that's kind of the goal for today, so I will keep y'all updated on that. Otherwise, since I last updated y'all, I don't think much has really happened for me to talk about. Nothing super crazy anyway, so yeah. Side note, there's a really cool map that comes into play in this book, and it's called the Marauders map. The fact that Fred and George give Harry this map and they use it for all their secretive stuff, and this map is so intricate and you can see all the people walking around on it, like that is so cool to me. Like, how's J.K. Rowling thinking of this stuff? Like, I know that it's not like the super craziest idea ever, but I just love fantasy authors and how creative they can be, and maybe that's why I love reading fantasy so much, is because you get to read about real life experiences, but through a different sort of lens, in a more fantastical lens, in a more creative lens. So there's still real stuff going on, so your brain is still working in the way of like increasing your empathy, because that's one of the things that reading does, is increase people's empathy, their memory, their reading comprehension, and all those things. In fantasy, you definitely need a lot of reading comprehension because it can be so complex, and maybe that's another thing that I like about fantasy too, is that it can be challenging. Though Harry Potter is not exactly challenging, it's definitely a great great place to start for people who are interested in fantasy, because it's already getting more complicated in the third book, but not to the point of being too hard to understand. But the map is just something that is included in there that's just like, oh, this is a cool idea. This is something that you can't really put into regular like fiction novels. This is one of those like nice little things about fantasy. Moto's falling asleep here. Isn't he so cute? But yeah, this is making me really happy because Ron and Hermione staying home for Christmas for Harry, and then Fred and George obviously giving him the map so that he can go to Hogsmeade. I just love everyone's love for each other. It's so nice. So nice. I've officially ran out of my importance tabs, so I'm going to use these ones to like match the hippogriff on the front, hopefully. It's a cozy, sleepy household today. It's the vibes. I know that Scabbers is Peter Pettigrew, right? And I don't remember if Sirius Black is 100% bad. In my mind, for whatever reason, he's not 100% bad, but Peter Pettigrew is bad. And I know that that's Scabbers, but Crookshanks, whatever that Hermione's cat's name, is that Sirius Black? Is Sirius Black one of the people who can change into animals at will? Because for whatever reason, I thought he was just a werewolf, and then Professor Lupin is a true wolf, or the opposite way around? I can't remember which one. I know Professor Lupin's the scary looking wolf, and Sirius Black is like a different type of wolf that looks a little bit more like a normal werewolf or whatever. I don't know. I'm gonna go get canes, hang out with a friend, and go to the bookstore today, but I've been chilling. It's a gloomy day outside, and that has been really nice. Yeah, I've had a good day chilling, relaxing, all cool and stuff. So catch up with y'all soon. So it's April 14th and I haven't finished the book yet, even though I planned on finishing it before. But yesterday I went to a Renaissance fair, and the day before that was the day I was here reading, I think. I think at the end of the day I decided to go over to my friend's house and watch Love Island with her. So now I have my big cup of coffee. I have this much left to go, so I'm probably about like 55 to 60% maybe. But I think I can finish it today for sure. This time. Alright, I'll keep y'all updated. I'm tired and my neck hurts so bad, but we'll see. Freaking Ron right now is being such a freaking meanie. Here Hermione is freaking doing all these classes because she wants to take full advantage of Hogwarts, which is a little silly because she is going a bit crazy with it. And then Ron is just being a freaking butthole to her all the time, and she's going and crying to Hagrid and confiding in him, and Hagrid tells them, and Ron has no freaking heart to talk to Hermione and feel any sort of empathy towards her. I get that he thinks that her cat ate his rat, but he's being such a butt. Like, Hermione slapping Draco. He deserved that. He deserves a couple more. Freaking Draco's been making me mad this entire book. I'm so glad that he got slapped in the face because he needed it. He needed to get blasted a couple feet and knocked in the head. Memory lost charm. Like, be a better kid. Why are you such a butt? Well. We have finished The Prisoner of Azkaban. Me and you, we're in this together. This is the spoiler version. We're in this together, okay? We're all experiencing this story together. Did you cry? I cried. I at least got very teary-eyed. Tears weren't falling down necessarily, but I was definitely feeling the feels. Emotions were stirring with freaking Harry and not having a father And then the Prisoner of Azkaban ended up being kind of, you know, his godfather. I thought he died. Silly me. That, I feel like I want to talk about that first because it's obviously the main part of the book, is that the Prisoner of Azkaban is innocent. He's Harry's godfather. He wants to take Harry in but can't because he has to go into hiding. Loved that. That was that was a surprise for me because I thought he died from watching the movie for some reason. I just didn't remember it. Freaking, I was getting very upset about Hagrid's class. I want the best for Hagrid. I really do. So for freaking Draco to be a little butthole, oh my gosh, Draco pisses me off so much. For him to freaking sabotage him and also try to kill, you know, an innocent animal because he was being a little freaking fart sniffer. I sound really mature right now. I'm just trying not to curse on my channel, so the words are hard. But yeah, so what else did I like about this book? I mean, there was a lot more Quidditch in it. There was actually a lot of important moments to the point where I ran out of tabs for my initial tabs and then had to change it up. Draco obviously made me very angry. Loved when Hermione slapped him because, oh my gosh, I wish I could have slapped him too. Freaking, especially for Hagrid. There was a lot of sad parts already in this book, and I know that this is not even like one of the saddest books, but Harry having to hear the last moments of his parents' lives and not really even having any memory of them, but then the only thing that he knows, the only time he's heard their voice is when they're screaming about to die. That is so traumatizing. Like, I'm getting chills. Like, I could not imagine that. That is crazy. And then freaking, yeah, the tabs. I'm looking at my tabs. Hagrid's lesson not going well and Hagrid being so upset about it. Hagrid is just such a good man and he deserves everything. And I just get so sad when anything bad happens to him or if anyone is mean to him. I just get, what's up, Teddy? One of my cats is crying for some reason. Him getting all bent out of shape because of Buckbeak in the trial and that not going well for him. He's just such a caring, compassionate person, not only for the people that he loves, but the animals that he loves, and that's just such a good quality to have, is love of animals, and to love them so deeply like he does, and he just wants the world for them. I don't know, I'm acting like Hagrid is the main character right now. Harry goes through a lot in this book, and I really do enjoy how it starts out dark with him seeing the Grim. I love the bus scene in the movie, so I really enjoyed being able to read about that. It already starts out, you know, Harry does wrong and needs to leave the home because he's like, I can't freaking deal with this anymore. And you know what? Can't blame him. And then he goes on the bus and then he goes to school eventually, but he gets away with doing things that he shouldn't, which is weird, but I guess the school is like, in the Ministry of Magic is like, well, we'd rather him be at the school instead of be dead by being caught by Sirius Black. I mean, little do they know he's innocent, but and it does suck that no one else gets to know, but maybe that makes the reader feel special. Maybe it's important to the plot later. I'm sure it is. It does add something to the reader's frustration. It adds to that emotion of, oh my gosh, if only everyone else knew that Sirius Black was innocent and that it's freaking Peter Pettigrew who sucks, but Peter Pettigrew got away as a freaking rat. Oh, I loved the different passages, the Marauder's map. Oh my gosh, hold on, let me get to the part that literally I was unwell. I was ready to pass away. Hold on. It was Dumbledore's quote to Harry. He says, when they're talking about the Patronus, that was his father's same Patronus, he said, Prongs wrote again that last night. That, wow, Dumbledore, wow, what a thing to say. How much of an impression. I mean, that will be in Harry's mind for the rest of his freaking life. And I feel like that was just such a powerful thing to say, and just that must have just meant the world to him, because I don't think him as a 13-year-old boy was seeing it that way. He's like, oh, I wish it was my dad. And then Dumbledore was like, no, like, who your dad was, that's you. You guys are, I mean, you're connected, that's your dad. And I think that in a way of kind of dealing, like someone who's dealing with grief, that may be something that's very healing to them, is that, you know, maybe they can look at some of the qualities that they have and remember the loved ones that they have and have lost, and been like, I'm still going to carry their legacy, or I'm still going to carry their name, or I'm still going to, you know, remember them because of this. And I just thought that was a beautiful thing to add in. And who's to say, I don't know if J.K. Rowling has experienced grief. I would assume probably reading. I think a lot of us have, in one way or another. Loved the different magics, you know, she's bringing in the divination, she's bringing in, you know, taking us to class with them, but not throwing it all in the first book to where we're all confused, but she's having it kind of spread out to tell us, oh, hey, yeah, I know you know about flying on brooms and all that kind of stuff from the first and second book, and you know about transfiguration and all that kind of stuff, but how about now let's get into divination, let's get into this other stuff. So just that, very much that school feeling of you're going to school with them sort of thing. Oh, didn't know about the animagus stuff, and I didn't really know too much about Harry's dad and how they were all 4 friends and they created the Martyrs map and that kind of stuff. Like, that was probably in the movie, but I just don't remember it. It has been a year or 2 since I have seen the 3rd movie. Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of Quidditch stuff in this one, but it's not that I was disliking it, it just so happened to be at the times of going in between those chapters, I also had a lot of life stuff going on and I just wasn't able to read that much, which is upsetting for me because then I feel like I try to put it against the book of like, oh, well, you know, it was slow. No, it wasn't slow. I just wasn't able to read at the time. So I did take a longer time to read it, not because of the book, but just because of me. The Dementors are obviously freaking terrifying, and I do like seeing the inside of Harry's mind and seeing what he goes through, because in the movie you really only get the outside perspective, and I think that's something that I just enjoy about books in general, is you get inside of their head, you get to see a lot more of what's going on. I liked that the time stuff with Hermione, that didn't go on too long. I felt like that was a perfect, like, you're recapping the events very quickly of the past couple hours and changing the outcome of what could have been, saving 2 innocent lives. Well, really multiple, because he also saved himself and Hermione and Sirius Black ×2, really. But yeah, and then, you know, Peter Pettigrew is still on the loose, so you still have this feeling that's like, yeah, I wonder what's going to happen in the next book. What is going to happen in year 4? Because it's not gonna be nothing good. You know that there's gonna be some business going down, and especially the way that these books have gone to where it's like darker and darker and darker. This one is not super dark. There's still that glimpse of hope and stuff, and I think that as you get onto 4, 5, 6, 7, those books are just gonna be like grim, dark, kind of horror stuff in there, because there was a little bit more of the horror element in this one, and I'm not a big horror person, so this is just the right amount for me, Harry Potter, because, and it's, I guess it's fantastical horror, so it's not as realistic feeling, not as scary, but yeah. So here I am just rambling on, but as I was reading, I thought it was going to be a 4.75, probably solely for the fact that I had to have breaks in between reading because I was doing life things, but at the end of the day, I was crying, tearing up. It's a 5-star. If you can get those sort of emotions out of me, make me really angry, make me really sad, make me really root for characters, make me really not root for characters, then that's a 5-star for me. Plus all of the different puzzle pieces she put together, I felt like it was just so creative, and it makes me so excited reading fantasy of authors' different ideas that they spread out and put together and all the planning that they do. And obviously there are things that could be better. I'm not saying that Harry Potter is absolutely perfect. That's not exactly what a 5-star means, because I don't think there is such thing as a perfect work of art, and that's books and just life. So all in all, great book, loved it, enjoyed my time with it. I'm super excited for the Goblet of Fire, and I am looking forward to seeing more of the tournament and just more in general. Oh, and Luna Lovegood, I saw her on the freaking cover. I used to be jealous of her when I was a kid, so I didn't like her. I just thought she was really pretty as a kid, and she is, I don't know what she looks like now, but in the movie she's a very pretty young girl, and I just remembered that she was weird, but I'm very interested to see that character in the book. How am I going to like her? How am I going to like Ron and Hermione's, you know, banter and the whole group's banter, and oh, freaking Ron and Harry and Hermione. Oh my gosh. I was angry when they kept trying to interrupt the adults, which, yeah, they're kids, they're 13, they're very angry, very traumatized, very much in pain, in physical and emotional pain. Absolutely makes sense, but I was just like, if you just listen to them, they can tell you what is going on. And freaking Ron always mad at Hermione for the animal thing, and he's like, oh, she wouldn't listen to me, whatever, but then he keeps being all snippy with her and being mean, even after Hagrid is like, hey, she's coming coming here and crying, and Ron was upset because he was like, oh, well, you know, she's not even showing. If she could at least show and pretend like she was sorry. And I'm like, of course she is. You just heard. Like, he said that before Hagrid told them. And I was like, okay, well, if Hagrid had told them, you know, she's going over there and confiding in him and everything like that, then maybe Ron will have some empathy, some sympathy. No, none. He had none. And he was still mad. He was still snippy with her. And I was like, Ron, I'm tired of you. I'm real tired of you in this one. Fred and George, still loving them. They're so goofy and funny. Didn't know Harry's dad was such a trickster. Of course, the stuff with Snape was very unfortunate. I can't remember if it was Peter or Lupin. I don't think it was Lupin who told him to go down there. And I know that it wasn't Harry's dad, because Harry's dad was the one who saved him, because he was upset that one of the people had told him about Lupin's hiding place or whatever. So there's also that. There's also that. That's just something that like, okay. So Harry's dad was like Fred and George with his friend group, but there was 4 of them, and they were worse than Fred and George. Sometimes malicious. So interesting, but I'm enjoying figuring out more about Harry's parents as Harry is figuring out more about his parents at the same time. Other than that, I think that's all I have to say. 5-star book. Really enjoyed it. Yeah. I think that's it. I hope y'all have a blessed day. Let me know all y'all's spoiler-full thoughts on Harry Potter books 1 through 3. I would say the entire series, but I don't know if we should really spoil the entire series. Just in case people are like, oh, I'm on book 3. Like, just in case people are reading along with me, you know. So let's just talk about books 1 through 3 in this video. And, yeah, I hope y'all have a blessed day. Let me know how y'all are doing. Anything else you want to tell me, I will respond down in the comments below.